Hi everyone, good morning. I'm coming to you live from Cape Breton in Nova Scotia. I'm in a little town called St. Peter's. It's where the Broad Oar saltwater lake meets the ocean. And I'm just in a park to do tea and tarot this morning. It's a little windy here, so hopefully you can hear me okay. So I've got my warm drink. I found a Tim Hortons, so doing that. So I hope everyone's doing well. It is windy, so I've got things anchoring my decks right now. So I'll just wait a few minutes for everyone to join in. And you can see there's this is actually the lake in the background. That's the Broad Oar Lake, but just I'll show you where I'm exactly after. I'll do a little tour, but I'm very near the ocean as well, and I'm super excited to be here. And I almost did tea and tarot an hour earlier than back home because I got mixed up with the time change, and then I realized no, because it's 12:11 where I am right now. So I almost did it at, it would have been 10 a.m. for you guys until I figured that out. Anyway, welcome. I have a lot of new decks. I have 4 new decks that I just opened up. So, and I don't have as many decks as I normally do because I'm traveling, but let's jump in and see what we have here. So I want to start with this deck. It's called the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and it's a new deck. I just literally opened these up in the car moments ago. A really beautiful deck. So I'm going to go to that one first. And if my camera goes flying, I will grab it. It is quite windy here. Hopefully the wind won't interfere too much. So yeah, definitely highly recommend visiting Eastern Canada. It is quite beautiful. I have been to Nova Scotia before, and I have been through Cape Breton before, but always at night because my dad lives in Newfoundland. So it's always been an all-night drive to the ferry for the morning. So I've never actually seen it in the daylight. So I'm super excited to be here. I plan to do some hiking tomorrow mainly, and yeah, just really loving life, like in beautiful weather. Like it was raining a bit earlier, but the sun came out. And all right, so we're in the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and this is the card that I pulled to kick off today, Fortune's Wheel, about luck and right timing. I'm really drawn to the sword in this picture. You can see it's almost like it looks like the hands of a clock, but it's also a sword that's glowing. And I really feel that's the key of the message of this card. And it's about using your power. And sometimes in life we're hesitant to use our power because we don't want to harm anyone with it. By accident, we might not say things when we need to say them. We might push our intuition down and try to keep the peace or try to go with the flow. But sometimes you get that feeling, especially when something's really true or you need to say something and you're worried about hurting someone with the truth. But Spirit wants to remind us that if you do it from a place of love, if you do it from a place of caring about the person, that the truth, even though it can still be hurtful, it's always better than not saying what you're meant to say or what you're supposed to say. And for all the intuitives out there, we know what this is like when we're in session with someone or even with our friends. Sometimes we just blurt things out and we're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but we did. But it's just like sometimes things, there's only the direct route. So this golden sword is asking us to speak our truth and not filter it, you know, not to make it pretty and tied up with a bow. Like if that message comes through from Spirit, trust and let it come out of your mouth, but also trust that your heart's in the right place with it. So this is, some of us in the next 2 weeks are going to be in situations where we need to say things that maybe we'd rather not have to say, you know, so it is going to make you uncomfortable on some level, but you're to trust that. You're to trust your gut, trust your intuitions, trust your angels and guides are with you, and that they will guide you through this. Now, I'm still showing that I'm connected. A couple of you are saying the connection's a bit dodgy, so it's still showing okay for me. So if that happens, if it comes in and out, then just catch the replay, and hopefully the replay will be okay. So for those that just jumped on, I pulled a card called Fortune's Wheel, but I'm drawn to this sword of truth in this card, where Spirit is saying to us, you know, trust your gut, trust your intuition, speak with love, but speak clearly. And some of us are going to be required to express what we're feeling and what we're getting, even if it goes against maybe what other people are believing and thinking, and even if it goes against the person you're talking to, but spirit is trying to work through you, so you have to allow that energy and those words to flow, and just trust that your heart's in the right place. Okay, I struggle with that sometimes. I never want to hurt someone's feelings or cause harm. As a healer, we're always trying to heal, we're always trying to do good things, but sometimes the most healing thing is to have somebody tell you the truth, and we all need a little more of that, I think. So that is again from the Shaman's Dream Oracle new deck. I don't have these in my shop yet, but I will bring them in. I kind of like to try decks out first myself to see if they're, you know, good before I bring them into my shop, and I will order some of these. So, but you might be able to find them on Amazon or your local bookstore. I always think it's great to go to the mom and pop shops first if you can. Support them. Jeff Bezos, he's set for life. He doesn't need your hard-earned gold. Anyway, moving on. Okay, I'm gonna pop my sunglasses on just because the sun makes me sneeze and it's sort of moving, and I don't have a sneezing festival, so here we go. All right, I have another deck for the unicorn lovers out there. I got this one especially for you. It's called The Magic of Unicorns, and it's by Diana Cooper. And again, I haven't really worked with this deck. I just opened it this morning, but it's a beautiful deck. So we'll go to that deck for her. I'm just kind of holding my tripod down for my phone with my hand as I shuffle. The wind, it picks up and then goes. Anyway. All right, so I hope the sound is okay too, because with the wind I did a test earlier, but I guess it's an experiment what we're doing right now. Okay, really interesting, because I pulled this card when I was playing around with them in the car, and the same one came up. All right, and it's called Pool of Christ Light. Open your heart and spread unconditional love. All right, and I think that when we are connected to our divinity, when we are connected to our Christ energy within, that we instinctually do that. We spread unconditional love, and we are working from our heart center, our heart place, and we all have the capacity to do this within us. We all have that divine aspect of ourselves. Yes, we have the physical body, this meat suit that we, have to navigate life with, but we have our inner essence, and some people call it the Christ mind, the Christ consciousness, God woman or God man realized, your divinity, your divine aspect, whatever you want to call it. But it's the part of you that is divine. It's part of you that is of spirit, of the magic of the cosmos, that knows all things, that can heal all things. And when you're in that place, you're automatically in unconditional love. You're automatically spreading love. You're breathing love in, you're breathing it out wherever you go. You're transforming the energy of the place just by your presence. So that's why it's so important with the self-care and the self-healing and taking care of yourself, because that raises your vibrational frequency up. It makes you a better person, but it makes you a better person in the world. So by taking the time to do those things for yourself, you're not being selfish. In fact, you're making the world a better place by making yourself a better person. You'll be able to help more people. Your smiling face will lift other people up. So this is about connecting to that joy, that divinity, and it is an energy of joy. And children are very naturally in this energy. Now, why do we get out of this energy? Well, ultimately, it really boils down to fear. Fear is the thing that pulls us out of our God essence immediately and effectively, and it takes you into a place of survival and scarcity and anger and judgment and all of those emotions and things that make us feel separate from other people. But when you're in your Christ consciousness, when you're in your divine energy, you recognize that when you smile at someone else and they smile back at you, that's your sister, that's your brother on the planet, that we are all connected, not only to each other, but to the animals and the earth itself. Which is why almost every 2 weeks I'm always saying, get outside, go for a hike, get in nature, sleep on the earth, get in a hammock, lay on the sand, because those things bring you back. Brings your heart back into the rhythm of the earth, the heartbeat of the earth, and it also brings you back to this place so that you recognize and see yourself in everything and everyone. And when you authentically do that, you aren't causing harm in the world. You're not spreading fear and anxiety and those negative things. And unfortunately, we've come off a year and a half of period of time where we've all been triggered heavily in all of those places. And some of us are still there, and some of us are trying to get out of it, and some of us are going back and forth in it, and some of us are so empathic we feel the waves of it all the time. Wherever you are in that, but just know the only escape from that is to come back to your center and come back to that divinity, okay? This card is telling us to do that. It's our birthright. It's always been with us. And if you're having trouble doing that, then reach out to a healer, reach out to a friend, get outside, play, find something to do, hang out with little kids, because they very naturally automatically go there. They're in that high vibe energy all the time. They'll pull you up if you're not feeling heavy. Now, I say little kids can pull you up if you're not feeling heavy, but if you're a mom of 4 kids that are driving you crazy, maybe that's not the thing that's going to help you feel better. You might need some time alone. But generally speaking, playing with little kids, you know, coming down to their level and playing the games they want to play and seeing the world through their eyes is a really great way to raise your vibration. So, all right, so let's go to another new deck. This one's called the Sacred Traveler Oracle by Denise Lynn. And it's a really nice deck. Again, new to me. So any excuse to buy more Oracle cards. I just tell myself it's for you guys so that you can experience them. So I'll just shuffle these ones. And so the last, and the Unicorn deck I just used, and the Shaman's Dream Oracle was the first one, and this one is the Sacred Traveler cards. I don't have these in my shop yet because these were sort of trial run cards to see if they were worthy. But like I said before, you could probably find them at your local bookstore, and I will be bringing them in my shop. Okay, so the card that I pulled from Sacred Traveler Oracle, and these are, like, I just love the back of the cards. Like, just the cards are getting so amazing. There's so many of them now, but they really are more beautiful than they were like 10 or 15 years ago. So this one is Wondrous Universe. And you can see in the image here, it's like a cartoon magician with the planets and smiling and all that light and energy coming down. And the bottom it says walk in beauty. And this kind of ties into that earlier message where I was talking about connecting to your divinity or that Christ consciousness and living from that place. When you are in that place, you automatically walk the earth in beauty. You see the beauty in everything. You could be in a torrential rainstorm and it doesn't ruin your day because you can see the beauty in that weather. You can find the good in everything. You know, you can have 2 separate people having the same experience, and somebody will be negative and hating it and complaining, and nothing is ever right for them, and the other person can be totally happy and, you know, glass half full attitude and just like see it as an opportunity and like, maybe this isn't great, but how can we change this, or what can we learn from this, or how can we adjust this? Those are 2 very different ways of approaching the world. And when our energy is low and depleted and we need a boost, we tend to gravitate to that energy of, oh, things are terrible and they're going to be awful forever, and we can get into that mindset. And when our energy is balanced, we have a tendency to see the positive in everything. So it's not so much that some of us are just, you know, pessimistic by nature. This has to do with your internal energy reserves, and this is also why it's so important to take care of yourself and do those things that fill your soul and feed you and fill you up. So right now I'm adventuring out eastern Canada. This was a trip that was supposed to happen earlier in the summer, but with closures and things like that, it just didn't line up, and I was going to leave it till next year, and I thought, no, I'm going. And because for me, being in nature and hiking, that's what fills my soul, that's what helps me. And I've really been having a hard time with the energies the last kind of 6 to 9 months. It's really hit me more than it has throughout COVID the whole way along. So I needed to come out, sleep in my tent on the earth, reconnect to nature to fill myself up. So that's kind of what I do. It's not for everyone. Not everybody likes a tent, you know, and it is a bit of I haven't been in a tent in a while, so I was sort of, the first couple days were an adjustment, just figuring out how to sleep on the ground without a squishy mattress. I thought it was luxury having a pillow, but it's been chilly, and you know, you just roll with it. But this card is reminding us to walk in beauty and see the beauty in things, even when they don't seem beautiful. okay? Because there is really a gift in every experience. There really, really is. In my 20s, I went through a healing journey. I was really unwell, and it was kind of scary. My doctors at the time were like thinking I had maybe a couple years to live. So that's like not news you want to hear in your 20s. And the whole time I was going through that experience, I got somebody was trying to call my phone. I forgot to put do not disturb mode on. At any rate, that experience, it was negative, but the whole time I just had this feeling kind of in my intuition that this is happening for a reason. Everything's happening for a reason. You're going to be okay, and there's going to be like a silver lining here, or a gift in this pile of junk in the experience. And there really was, because it really, that journey, that healing journey I went on led me to try a lot of different things that I didn't try before, and actually pushed me forward on the path to become a healer. So I wouldn't be here today doing the work that I do if I hadn't had those experiences in my 20s. I would have taken another road, maybe circled back to this eventually, but we don't always know how we're going to get where we're going, or why we're going to get where we're going. But if you can look at an experience you have that you would consider not positive as sort of like the universe giving you an opportunity for change or growth, it's a it becomes a very different experience. It totally shifts it. So it's not about putting your head in the sand and pretending everything is la la la, rainbows and sunshine, when it's not, but it's about kind of going, okay, what's going on here really? Like at the core, what is this about? It's never about the details, but what's happening to me on a cellular level, on an energetic level. What am I learning here? What is the gift in this experience? So this Wondrous Universe card is saying to us, remember the magic of the world you live in right now. It's a magical place, okay? That magic is always there for you. It's always giving you messages and signs. We're the ones who shut it out. So if you're not feeling that in your life right now, just shift this, just be open. And if you're having trouble being open, Spirit wants us to just set that intention to be open and give that invitation to Spirit and say, I want to be open to experience and notice the magic that surrounds me and feel the healing that is around me for my body. Please allow me to receive this. Please remove any blocks in my reality that are preventing me from experiencing and seeing these things. And by setting those intentions, you'll start to see things shift almost immediately. It's really very exciting. So another reminder from Spirit, we are magical beings. We have the power within. We really, really do. We live in a world that sometimes makes us forget that. But right now, especially in the world, it's important for all of you to reconnect to that energy, reconnect to that power, reconnect to your intuition, because that is what's going to get you through this next bit we're in. And it's a bit of a sticky bit, you know? So, but that's the number one thing. No one can tell you what to do. You know, you have to connect to your own divine nature. That's where the truth is for you. I mean, you can have people guide you along the way, like that's what I do for a living. People call me with their questions and I help them. But my ultimate goal is to get all of you to connect to your intuition so you don't need me anymore. Because what kind of a world would we live in if everyone just did that every morning? We wouldn't have the problems that we have right now. Absolutely not. Okay, so I'm going to an older card that we've had before. It's the Spellcasting Oracle, and this card I've never actually pulled before. It's interesting. And it wants us to look at our financial health. And there's this beautiful like tree of life. And it's funny because, you know, we've all heard the saying, oh, money doesn't grow on trees and that kind of thing. But I like to imagine like having a magical money tree that you can just go shake in your backyard and that abundance comes to you. And this card is asking us to look at our financial health. And for some of us, that might be easier than others. Some people are just naturally gifted in that realm with their finances and numbers, and they love their Excel spreadsheets and figuring out when they can retire and all that stuff. And I always admire those people because I'm the opposite. I'm kind of like, well, there's money in my bank account, my bills are paid, so we're good. But this card is asking us to look a little deeper with our financial health. And it's not a card of warning, it's more a card of, the energy of this card is saying, listen, you might be in better shape than you think. Or maybe there could be some tweaking to your plan to work to your advantage. So maybe you could refinance your mortgage or some of your loans, or maybe you can buy that house you didn't think you could, or maybe you can retire a bit earlier, or maybe you can leave that job that you don't love and be okay. So this card, the energy with it is also asking us to reach out to other people. So you might not have these answers on your own. So my advice is maybe find a financial advisor or a friend that seems to have it together with their finances, and just say to them, listen, like, are you gifted? Did you figure this out on your own, or who do you use? Like, who are your people? Like your bank and your advisors, and you know, somebody always knows someone, and most people are really willing to share that kind of stuff with you. So look to your financial health, see if there's ways that you can improve your finances, make them feel more secure, because this is a huge stressor for a lot of people, and we often stress about things we don't understand, or when there is unknown happening, or we don't have all the information. So sometimes we do have to go outside of ourselves and get help from other people, and some people are wizards at this kind of thing. So if that's not your strong suit, please find somebody who is adept at this, because it can take a lot of pressure off and maybe give you some opportunities or some things you hadn't thought of before. There might be some abundance there that you weren't aware of. So this card's asking us to reach out to those people that know. All right. Okay, so let's go to the Native Spirit Oracle next. And we've done this one before, and then after this one I'll go to the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which is a new deck, but this is the Native Spirit Oracle that you guys have seen me use before. And I'm realizing too, as I'm traveling, that this place is a lot bigger than I thought. Like I sort of want to do too much, and I don't have as much time as I would like to do everything, so I definitely have to come back. But please feel free to go to my Instagram and share any of your favorite places. If you've been to Cape Breton, if you have any suggestions. I love to hike, so if you've gone on any great hikes, please let me know. Okay, so I just pulled the Spirit of Fire card, and I actually think I might have pulled this card a couple weeks ago. Just bear with me here. I have to put lids on some of the cards there, but to blow away just a sec. Oh my goodness. Okay, the wind is all right, here we go. So Spirit of Fire, and I know I've pulled this one before for all of you. I don't think it was 2 weeks ago. It might have been a couple months ago. So the Spirit of Fire energy is coming to us for two reasons. One is asking us to burn away some of that stagnant energy, or those old things we've been hanging on to. And I really feel like this is connected to physical things. So some of you are living in a cluttered environment. Maybe you've got closets you need to clean out. Maybe you've got things that you just haven't put away properly, or perhaps you've moved and you just haven't unpacked yet. But this card is coming to, sorry, I just got to lock down these cards here. It's basically coming to us today to say, listen, you can't have an uncluttered mind and an uncluttered energy if the environment you live in is cluttered. So take that time to clean up your space, and if you can't find the time, then hire someone or find someone to help you. It's so important, especially before we get into winter. I feel like for the next month and a half, this is important to clear your physical space, because this is going to make you feel lighter emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And I feel like it will transfer into other parts of your energy. So by cleaning your physical space, you're going to feel energetically lighter. You might even have things heal in your body. But Spirit's saying start with the earth things, like start with your physical belongings. The second message that's coming to me from this card is to use the energy of fire to heal something in your body you feel you've been struggling with for a very long time. So some people are hesitant to use fire as a healing energy because they're like, well, it's so strong and it could be like a destructive force, and I don't know, it scares me a little. But you can make it any color you want. If actual fire, doesn't feel good, then change it, make it purple or blue or whatever color you're drawn to. But use that energy of fire, take it within your body and send it to wherever you feel the energy is stuck, or wherever you feel you're healing something. Really visualize that fire come in and burn away any illness or imbalance, and then just see like ash kind of fall out of your body. And imagine a windy day like I'm in right now, and just see the wind pick it up and blow it away right out of your energy field, out of your body, and just let it go. For some of you, if you're not sure about working with fire, start with the fire, and then you can also imagine after you're standing under a waterfall, just to kind of wash that through further and cool everything down. But fire is very effective for all kinds of illnesses and imbalances, especially things that get stuck in the body that have been there a long time, especially cold, damp illnesses. So things like arthritis, or chest congestion, or gout, or even some inflammation. you know, sinus issues, anything that's kind of got a cold, damp quality, fire really excels at. So burn it through your body, just try it and see how that works for you, because we are getting that message that it will be helpful. So for most of us, so a lot of us who've tuned in today, maybe we've got some physical complaints going on, and so we're to clear our space and use fire as a visualization in our healing for our body. Okay, so now we're going to go to the Mystic Shaman Oracle. I'll show you what the cover looks like. It's really nice. And this is a three-part collaboration between, I always say his last name wrong, so please forgive me, Alberto Villoldo. He's written so many books. You know who I'm talking about. Colette Baron-Reid and Marcela Lobos. They've created this deck together, and it comes with a book. Like it's a big, like it's not just one of those little decks wrapped in plastic. Like it's got the deck, it's got a big book, and it's quite large. So I wasn't too sure when I bought it. I'm like, it's a lot of money for a deck, and is it really going to be that good? It's that good, so it was worth it. All right, so we're going to these cards next, just asking what message we need for the next 2 weeks. And we're to be still. We're to find some time for stillness and silence in the chaos. And we really are, this almost comes up every 2 weeks. I feel like a broken record with this one, guys, but really meditation. You know, if you can't meditate, find a guided meditation. Let someone else's voice guide you there. But it really is the single most important thing for your mental health and your physical health, is finding that stillness. It doesn't have to be sitting in a room by yourself, just on a cushion, trying to clear your mind. It's probably never going to happen. But you can be in a meditative state of mind, folding your laundry, emptying the dishwasher, cleaning your house, going for a run, going for a walk in the woods. Any time you're fully present with what you're doing and really paying attention to what you're doing, you're in a meditation, okay? So more time for that. And it's really hard to do that now. Like, I've noticed just hanging out with friends, and even myself doing it, like, because we have our phones and it's so easy to be distracted. The other day, when I pulled into the campground, I noticed this couple, and they were sitting at a picnic table across from each other, and they were both just looking down at their phones for hours. Now, granted, they've probably been married for a million years and didn't have much to say, but like, we do that all the time now, you know? And even this, like, even with the Instagram, I love the Instagram, but I hate it sometimes too, because it's like, well, you know, like, yeah, great, you're doing stuff and you want to share it, but at the same time, it kind of takes away from the doing stuff, you know? So it is good to have times to unplug, to be silent, and to be really present in what you're doing instead of distracted. I feel like all of our internet things kind of have made us all a little bit attention deficit. I know it has with me. So I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I do try to find balance with it. And, you know, there's all kinds of ways you can monitor that. Like, we have things on our phone that even tell us how many hours we're on our phone in the day or week. But it's about being present in everything you do, like really enjoying the experience. Like, if you're somewhere visiting somewhere, like, soak it up. Like, if you're having a conversation with someone, really listen. Don't be thinking about what you're going to say next. Like, really listen to their words, and try to listen deeper to their words. Listen to the energy underneath their words. Try to feel the emotion underneath the words. Like, are they, you know, are they holding back? Are they, like, fully letting go and being honest with you? Like, try to train yourself to go deeper into deeper layers of every experience you have. Like, even being outside, like right now, I'm feeling the sun on my body. Like, it's bright, but I'm feeling the warmth on my shoulders. It's like someone's giving me a hug. Like, it's like when I go deeper into those experiences, even though I'm talking to you right now, so my energy's with you, but also here, so I'm not fully present in that. But, you know, to go deep into something and to fully understand it, Spirit's asking us to do that. And that is a meditation, okay? It doesn't have to be a boring room on a cushion that's uncomfortable and your body hurts and trying to clear your head of stuff, because we all have busy, active minds, and that's just torture. So try a new way to meditate. Find your way, because it's really about you finding your way, not anyone else's way. You can use someone else's way to help you find your way, absolutely, as a stepping stone. But at the end of the day, it's like hiring a guide to take you for a hike in the forest. Once you get your bearings, then they leave you and you find your own path to walk, right? So, all right, let's go to the Work Your Light Oracle, a favorite, old one. Well, not old, but older than the others. And we'll go to that one for our next card. And then after that, I'm going to do the angel wing cards to wrap up. And then I'll give you a quick little tour of where I am. Okay, so answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? This is really important. I have this come up a lot in sessions with clients because there's always this big question of what is my soul calling me to do, or why am I on the planet, and am I following my path, and am I living my life purpose? And these are really big questions, and they're important questions because we all want to feel like we're living a life in alignment with our soul purpose. What we need to understand is that everything we do is in alignment with our soul purpose, or we wouldn't do it. That internal guidance system that you have, it's like, you know, when little kids are in the amusement park and they're driving the little cars and they think they're driving the cars, but they're actually on a track, like they can't, you know, screw it up. That's us in our life. We can't screw this up. But what this card is asking us to do, it's saying to tune into what your soul is calling you to do, because this card is coming up for those of you who kind of know, you feel the pull to what your soul is called to do, but for whatever reason you're not answering it. And maybe it's fear. Maybe you don't have the steps in place to get from A to B. And that's okay. You don't have to do it all in 24 hours. It might be years, the process. But really to honor and listen and journal and connect to yourself and figure this stuff out. And sometimes you'll think, oh, this is my soul purpose, and you jump into something and then you realize, I hate this, or this is not for me. And that's okay, because it's helping you figure it out. It's more important to kind of take steps in a direction than it is to sit and not go anywhere and be in your head too much with something. So if you're stuck with something, just jump in just a little bit and then trust that feeling you get, because it will pull you in the right direction. Just like those kids on that track with the car, we can't miss it. We can't miss it. Okay? I know it's easy to think, oh, I'm going to miss my soulmate. I'm going to not meet them, or not be in the right place at the right time, or I'm not going to connect with my soul life's purpose and live a wasted life here on earth. No, your soul is always pulling you to it. That will always line up. But you're always being asked in every moment, will you give permission for this to happen? So if you feel like you've been struggling with finding your soul purpose or your soul calling or your soul path, you can just ask your guides and angels that are around you, send a prayer or an invocation to them and say, listen, I want it to be clear. You know, I don't have clarity around these things, so please give me a sign or a message, or create an event in my life to put me on a trajectory to this destiny, if you feel you're not on it already. Okay, and you will get that. You will definitely get that clarity. You will get that message. You will get that, you know, being picked up and moved somewhere else. Sometimes it's graceful, sometimes it's a little chaotic. Just go with it. But if you ask, Spirit absolutely will deliver. But even if you feel you're not on your path, most of us actually are. We really, really are. We just might need to tweak a couple things along the way to feel like we're fully in it, but most of you are. Your soul is guiding you, even if you're not aware of it. So all those random occurrences, those really neat synchronicities, even those bad days you have, those are all part of the process. Because sometimes we need to have those experiences, we need to have those hard days, to learn things about ourselves, to learn things about other people, so that we can continue and go where we need to go, right? Sometimes we have those experiences because they put us on a trajectory to something else. And they also help us hone what it is we really, really want, which is important. So now we're going to go to the angel wing cards to end. And I've had a bit of caffeine. So confession is good for the soul. Caffeine and I, well, what can I say about that? I feel smarter and better on coffee, but I had half decaf and half calf in my coffee, and it just makes me talk even faster than usual, which is terrible if someone's stuck in a car with me. But it's great for you guys because you're getting more messages crammed into shorter time. But yeah, I'm not on anything other than a little bit of coffee and life. Okay, so the gold wing card. The card I pulled today is Empowerment by Courage and Confidence. So this is about taking those steps in your life, going forward in that direction with courage. That's what we need first to overcome our fears, to just take that baby step forward, and confidence. And confidence comes with experience, but you're not going to get that right away. But you're not going to get it by doing nothing. No amount of learning is going to give you that. You have to like jump into life and start experiencing it to get the actual confidence. Okay, so the silver wing card, see your issues more clearly. So you can ask Spirit to show you what's holding you back or what you need to work on. You can ask for clarity around that and start to get, once we're aware, then we can work on it. We can't work on what we're not aware of. So it is actually better to know. It's always better to know. Sometimes I talk to people and they don't want to have a reading because they're like, I don't want to know. Or they don't want to go for that medical test because they're like, I'm worried something bad is there. I'm like, if something bad is there, don't you want to know as soon as possible so you can do something about it to fix it instead of waiting until it's too late? You know, like, it's better to know, guys. Okay, and the key is August and meeting new people. Oh God, do we have to wait a whole year for that? Well, I hope not. I hope we're let out of our house this winter. But anyway, oh, that remains to be seen. Okay, so I'm just going to, I don't want to let go of this thing. It's going to blow away. Let me just move these cards over here and then I'm going to show you guys where I am. So I'm going to turn the camera, and this is the Broad Oar Lake. And there's a channel there, and that channel goes all the way to the ocean, which is beyond those trees. So there's Spencer doing some handstands, some yoga. Anyway, so we're going to hopefully swim in the lake and the ocean later. And we're gonna go along the Broad Oar Lake, and then the plan is to go to St. Anne's Harbor, maybe camp near there, and then do some hiking around the top and see how that goes. But yeah, so hopefully the sound was okay. If it jumped in and out, I hope that on the replay you guys are able to connect to everything okay. And I will be back probably in my living room in 2 weeks. My little trailer is still being renovated. It will probably be done in time for winter. Oh my gosh, anyway, don't get me going on that. But it was great to see all of you. I love you so much. And I hope that you're soaking up the last little bit of summer wherever you are. We have a few more days before it's fall. I like pumpkins and lattes too, but you know, summer's where it's at for me. So, all right, take care guys. Love you all. Bye.